In this video, we're going to embed Zoom to ServiceNow. Right, this is actually a live attempt, so figure that could be doable with the use of UI page, and then we're going to embed the UI page in Service Portal. So the actual use case right now here is to embed Zoom in Service Portal, and and I think that maybe UI page is the way to go with it, since it still uses it still relies on traditional JavaScript, HTML, JavaScript, and CSS stuff. So yeah, we're currently in Zoom app marketplace, and you can visit that by going to marketplace.zoom.us. And the first thing you need to do is to create a Zoom app. So I think we need to go to develop and select build app. And in this case, we're going to develop or create a meeting SDK app. Let's name it, ServiceNow prototype. Nope, I don't want to publish it to the marketplace. And so you'll be presented with filling out this information. So for the short description, I'll just put in there, this is just a prototype. For the long description, what I'll just do is copy and paste this here. And so for the company, so let's say it's for new apprenticeship, and then developer contact information, that's me. And you just have to fill in the rest of those stuff there. Now, if you go to download, you can download the SDK package depending on your platform. But in this case, I think I'll go with the web. I click download. And so you'll be presented with this file. And you have the CDN components and local. So in this case, you just open CDN, and that's it, right? So inside the CDN or content delivery network files, you'll be presented with this HTML files, some keys, and so on. But then I like to take your attention to this index.js file. So if I open that I think we need to extract it first. So you have the so I extracted these files to JS folder, to dedicated folder, and I have here the JS folder, and I'd like to open the index.js file. And here's what it looks like. So it seems like this is your main JavaScript file. We can use to initialize the Zoom meeting. So in this case, we need to fill in the client ID, client secret. So let's go back to the creation of our SDK app credentials. See that those are the credentials, and then you have the feature and so on. Scopes. I think for the app credentials, you just need to define loud list. I think you can go ahead and start. Yeah, I'm not sure if we still need to. I think we can go ahead and need to go, like in this case, it's use my ServiceNow instance. So I use this URL, go back here, and then for the feature, yeah, I don't think we need anything further. Okay, so redirect URL. Well, in that case, I think we can just use this instead. Continue. Yeah. I think that's pretty much it. Actually, I don't think you still need to define this stuff there. I think you can go ahead, click manage, and you have the ServiceNow prototype app there. So now we have to go to the client ID, client secret, just copy and paste that to your index.js. All right, so that's your client ID, client secret. Save the file. Now, let me show you how it works. So if I click, one more thing that I need to show you is, is how it works, right? So as soon as I click this index.html, it shows me this plain HTML file in my computer, and that's where I can enter the meeting number, password, and then just join that meeting. So I think we need to launch a Zoom meeting, create a meeting, and so there we go. And for the participants, you just need to click that up arrow and try to generate an invitation. So copy that and then paste it in here. So just copy and paste the meeting ID without the spaces, of course. You need to remove that. Meeting password, click join. So next thing that you'll encounter is this error. So you just have to copy, and so what happens is the JavaScript behind it is redirecting it to the root of your storage, and then so that means /meeting.html and the rest of the parameters. But in that case, we just have to move it to the appropriate working directory. So just like that, right? So the /cdn file folder. As soon as you enter that, there you go, right? So it's working. Click join audio, allow, and right, that's it. Click join. And you can see that, all right, the host is waiting for you to be admitted. We're waiting for the host to admit your request. So here I can see my browser trying to join the Zoom meeting. If I click admit, that means it's connected to my meeting, and I'm joining from my browser from an HTML file with a combination of CDN assets. So the same thing is going to be is what we're going to try doing in ServiceNow. Actually, at this point, I have no idea if it's going to work or not. So we're just going to do our best and use our combination of knowledge we know in ServiceNow to try to make it work. So let's leave that meeting. So we're just going to end this meeting for now and go to our start trying to implement that in ServiceNow. So let's go back to our instance, and I would expect that we create an update set to store all these changes. In this demonstration, we're going to store it in global scope. So let's create a new update set. Let's do it as Zoom. I think that's called a Zoom assets. Zoom assets, and let's put in my name in there so we can quickly identify the update set. Submit and make current. So as soon as we're done with that, we can start going to UI pages. So the first objective is to just to create this index.html. So let's try to create that as UI page. So the question is, why, Alan, are you not creating that as a portal widget, right? And the thing about it is because it seems to be using a bunch of JavaScript which are not Service Portal friendly. Especially in Service Portal, you're limited to do, invoking. You're not even allowed to do DOM, right? In Service Portal. So I thought maybe the UI page is the way to go. In UI page, it's like there's not much restriction in there. As a matter of fact, I think you can also host a page, an absolute page without any header. So that's why I love UI page, really. And I don't think it should be deprecated anytime soon. So we're going to create that index.html, and let's name it zoom-index. Right, and then you can just rename that if you want, and then HTML. Just open that in Sublime Text. So what we need to do first is so how about the CSS files? So for the CSS files, we need to access them and store this style sheet in ServiceNow. So let's go to CSS, and this is a part where I'll use Service Portal CSS, right? So I'll create one for, so that I would say Zoom Zoom assets dash bootstrap.css. don't think we need .css there. And try to open that CSS, copy and paste that in here. Click save. All right, let's try to access this. Dev 107183 slash .css. How about dbx? All right. So how can we access this CSS file? Well, unfortunately, I don't think there's a way to reference these files. That's why I actually miss the CMS approach. It's actually not this one. Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's why I kind of missed ServiceNow CMS. It's just, yeah, we just put in there the CSS file, and you can host a CSS file of your own and just add a CSS dbx there. Well, so we're not able to access that CSS file. Yeah, so I guess we don't have a choice. The reason why I'm not putting in this header tags in here is because if this UI page is not a direct UI page, you can only store body related tags, HTML tags, which are these ones enclosed inside the body HTML tag of your HTML. So in this case, I don't have a choice but to check the direct, right? And yeah, I think that's it. Zoom index, and in the zoom asset indexed, and I'll just go ahead and copy and paste them here. All right, and that's it. Click save. There should be some errors there. Talk type is not allowed. Yeah, I really hate this kind of validation, to be honest. So I don't have a choice but to, the only way to bypass them is just save it. Right, and then go back to the list of UI pages. Look for zoom asset, expose the XML, I think XML or HTML, and list edit from there. Okay. That's it, right? So that means our zoom index now seems to be linked now. I'm not sure if we can remove this doc type HTML, so remove that, and I'll also have to add this end tags there. It's just that UI page still XHTML compliant. So I think with other stuff here is the required tags. We need to replace them all with this. So let's try to save. Next is next are the inputs. So we need to set the inputs to have the slash at the end. So I'm not for those who are pretty new to HTML world. XHTML is kind of an older version of HTML. It's after WML, if I'm not mistaken. It's after WML. And yeah, in that case, back then it was so strict when it comes to syntaxing, and it's currently enforced in UI page. So now it's working, right? So if I add the test there, refresh the page, and there we go, right? So it's working now. So it's not working for on the reason that the other JavaScript files are being referenced here are not yet referenceable because it's relying on a relative path which is not yet existing. So we need to host them in ServiceNow. So I think for the JavaScript files, we can host them as UI scripts, right? So you can do that by going to, let's start with the index now with tool.js. So zoom, yeah, you need to create a new zoom asset tool. I think that's it. And then UI type is all, right? And then for the You know what? Screw this, right? Let's go CDN. Let's just open the CDN in Sublime. Just drag the folder there, and now we can go ahead and see the JS files. And just copy and paste this. So for tool.js, copy and paste that here. I guess that's it. Zoom asset tool, submit. Let's create the index.js zoom assets. I'm adding this prefix so that we can better track our components and assets consistently. So for index, let's put in there index vconsole.mean.js. So just go zoom asset vconsole.mean, but without the JS, because later on we go into reference it with JSDBX extension. Submit. So let's give it a try. So if we try to reference this, it's 10.7.1.83 slash yada yada .jsdbx. This is how it's going to look like, right? So that means we can host our JavaScript files inside ServiceNow. And this needs to be hosted here because it's especially the index. So I guess the meeting.js as well. So now I created a meeting. The next thing we need to do is go to the index file and start putting in our client ID and client secret. So this is the same client ID and secret from our SDK app, and it's already there, right? So I think the next thing we need to do is go back to our UI page, and we need to reference them as zoom at slash. Don't forget the slash to point to the root path of your ServiceNow instance. So this one is slash zoom asset dash, and instead of JS, we need to reference with JSDBX. Same for index.js, right? So index.jsdbx means if I save this, go back to our UI page, 10.7.1.83, zoom asset index.do. Just need to add a .do there, right? So next thing we need to do is go back to our Zoom, create a new Zoom meeting, copy the invitation, go back to Notepad, and that's it. So here's something that we need to test. Right, see, as soon as I click join, it opens a new tab, and it opened a new tab, and that's it, right? So unfortunately, that's the way it is. What's happening is it's opening a new tab with slash meeting.html. So in short, it still feels like it's working in your local desktop, right? So we need to modify the index.js behavior a bit for it not to do that. So we need to go to the UI page, the UI script for index, and let's go ahead and find I think there's an HTML page. So if we right click on the join button and inspect, you should see there's a join meeting ID for that for that tag, and we just need to find that in our UI page in index.js. So go to your index.js, find the join _ meeting, and you should see that there's like an event binding there. And this is where we modify things. So see, there's a part there that says join URL / meeting.html. So we need to modify this so that it references a new UI page. So that new UI page is something we need to create. So go back here. So instead of I just duplicated that view. Instead of Zoom Asset Index, we'll now create a new UI page called Zoom Assets Meeting, which is going to come from this meeting.html file from your Zoom CDN. And the same just goes here, right? Just copy and paste them there. And remove the doc type do the rest of the corrections to your HTML. Just add those closing tags. Then same for the tool, vConsole, and meeting. I would say let's copy and paste this. So we replace this lines, and then for the next one, for the meeting.js, just put in there up to this point. Yeah, zoom asset meeting.js tbx, and that should be it. Now don't forget that we modified a copy of the index, so we should not click save. We should click insert and stay. So go back here. So imagine instead of meeting.html, now we're going to reference this UI page, which is /zoom asset meeting.do. See, seems to be working. If I click allow, yep, your camera and microphone are being used by other apps. That's fine. Got it. I just want to join and take it for a spin. So now I'm able to join the Zoom meeting through ServiceNow. Right? I click admit. That was in my ServiceNow app. That was in my Zoom app, not ServiceNow. See, now I can join the meeting inside ServiceNow. So what's the essence of this that we've been doing? So we can iframe the meeting.js, this entire window. We can iframe it. Theoretically, I haven't tried it yet, but we can iframe this UI page in your service portal. You just have to create a new widget with an iframe in it, and that's it. So I'm not sure if ServiceNow has out of the box widget for iframing. If there is none, we'll just have to create something for it. So yeah, I guess that's it for this video. Just to show you how we can do something like this in ServiceNow, and it's actually quite a breakthrough if you're looking for a way to make it work. All right, cheers.